really firing out the blocks. I thought they were very slow at the blocks, not as much intensity as you would have seen in concentration. And I think because it was Newcastle, and Newcastle have to get credit for the way they defended as a team in the first half. It was frustrating for Arsenal. I thought the movement from Aubameyang, especially in the first half, wasn't great. In the end, he got taken off. And we saw in the end, it was Saka who had a 10-minute spell in the second half, what really sorted this game out. But in the main, it came down to Newcastle's frailties and the fact that Arsenal just a better team in the moment and just took advantage of that.
The reaction to come from Arsenal's 2-0 victory over Newcastle at the Emirates. But at the half-time, you heard Alan's opinion on that first half penalty that wasn't given in Newcastle's favour. Given the way the game went, given the importance of the first goal, which you talked about, Alan, as well, how big a call, how big a decision do you think this could have been?
Well, it should have been. I listened to what Dermot said at half-time to us. I mean, I think that's a howler. I really think that is a howler. I understand the referee not seeing it, but the VAR referee should be given that. He's got hold of him, two hands around him, not even looking at the ball, then drags him down. Tell me, I just don't see any other option than giving a penalty there.
You see the problem Newcastle have with that, with the way that they played in the first half and how difficult it was, and how Arsenal were misfiring. We saw Saka come into his own there. You need that decision, because that decision then gives you the energy and the confidence to try and hold on more, and then see if Arsenal, if they come out, take more chances, you might be able to get something. People don't realise how important those decisions are, because you look at it, and the more you look at it, the more you can't see how they've not given a penalty.
And as you say, Arsenal did come to the fore after that, and Saka finished off a 16-pass move. Yeah,
well, this is what happens when Arsenal, they started to, you have to say that Newcastle were tiring a bit. I know it's the first not too long in the second half, but Arsenal were very much in control of the way they were. Al, you wanted to point out Lascelles.
Yeah, look at Lascelles in the middle. He's got to smell the danger. He's got to realise that Saka now is a problem. He's got to engage. He's got to come over a second earlier and do that, rather than standing there doing nothing with his hand in the air. I mean, it's terrible defending.
That's
brilliant from Arsenal.
Yeah.
Great play from Arsenal, very good. But from a Newcastle point of view, that is why they're in so much trouble, because they do not spot danger. They're not good defenders.
So that was 1-0. They had another penalty appeal. What was your view of this?
No, I didn't think this was a penalty.
Why does he go down, Alan?
I don't know why he goes down at all. There's a little coming together, there's a little nudge, but not enough for him to go down there. He's got himself in a really good position, Wilson. It's a good ball, it's a great run. He's looking down on the goalkeeper. I don't think that's enough for him to go down. I think the defender does what he has to do in terms of engage and make contact, but not a penalty for me, not enough, no.
Martinelli, on 93 seconds, his second touch. Tell us how difficult a skill this is, right?
Well, this is that's very difficult, coming over your right shoulder. I'm thinking that at some stage the he's got to at least at some stage get some kind of contact with him. I'd be expecting something. The goalkeeper, for me, has made that a little bit easier for him. Goalkeeper's got to be there in his face, because at some stage he's got to take his eye off of where the goalie is to concentrate on the connection. The goalkeeper should be in his face, knowing that he's got to take his eye for that. And he weren't close enough. It's a great finish. It's a great ball from Tomiyasu.
Yeah.
But it's something, again, where you're feeling like we're nitpicking about but he's got to be closer. You've got to have some form of contact with the goalkeeper afterwards, because he's got to be closer to him.
I didn't think Arsenal needed to hit top gear today. Certainly, first half they didn't. They were better in the second half. What they did better in the second half was move the ball that little bit quicker, had a little bit more movement in and around the 18-yard box, and when they did that, Newcastle couldn't live with them and cope with them.
Eddie, that's a disappointing result. How do you view the performance?
I thought it was good for the first probably 30-35 minutes. I thought we were solid. I thought we creaked a little bit before half-time. Arsenal got on top, and probably the same after half-time until the goal. And then, obviously, I haven't seen it again, but the penalty incident and the second goal, Ramsdale's made a couple of great saves in the game. So I thought we were very close. Could have been very different.
Yeah, they took the lead, and then were you distracted by that penalty appeal? Because the second one went in while it was still all going.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I can't speak on behalf of the players. But to me, it looked like a penalty, but you need to see it again and need to see why it wasn't given. But Callum looks like he's through one-on-one. But it wasn't, and we needed to defend it better. Obviously, that second goal was a killer blow at that stage of the game.
No clean sheet as yet. I mean, did you see positives out there today?
I did, yeah. I thought you saw a committed team. I thought you saw a group of players that gave everything. I thought we started brightly. I don't think we were our best with the ball today. I thought there was a lot of counter-attack opportunities for us to deliver better, especially with the players we have in the team. But we ended the game very strongly. We were the team trying to find a way back in. All those characteristics we're going to need. We never dropped our heads today.
Still a lot of work to do you think?
There's always going to be a lot of work to do, regardless of the result today. This was a big task ahead of us. It's got slightly bigger today, but I saw positive signs.
But potential turning point, of course, these next two games that you've got coming up, Norwich and Burnley.
Every game's a potential turning point. I don't think we can target specific games. It's every game we try to win.
Although they're the ones down alongside you.
Of course, every game's hugely important.
Thank you, Eddie.
Thank you.
You can feel his disappointment, and that statistics tells you at this stage of the season he's got to defy history.
Yeah, it's a massive job he's taken on. As I said earlier, if he didn't know, he does now that he's going to need a lot of luck. He's going to need more players coming into the club in January, and hope that they're not adrift come January, because that might affect players' decisions in wanting to go to Newcastle, which is why the next two games are their season.
How many
have to take 6 points?
How many, realistically, I mean, people say 10, but in January it's very difficult to deal. How many do you think he needs to give them a fighting chance of pulling that off, Alan?
I think he needs at least 3 or 4. A couple of defenders, someone with a bit of guile in the midfield, and also someone to take the weight off Callum Wilson up front in terms of the goals. That's all right saying that, because every single club, other than maybe Chelsea or City, United, that they need a forward. They need someone to put the ball on the back of the net. Newcastle's big issue at the minute is defensively. I mean, they're nowhere near good enough, those defenders that they've relied on for so long now. Kept them in the division the last couple of years in playing a certain way. But once you open up, once you want to play on the front foot and play attacking football, you're leaving those defenders exposed, and they're not good enough.
As we sit here now, what chance have they got of staying up, do you think?
I don't think there's... Well, it's going to depend.
At the minute is defensively. I mean, they're nowhere near good enough, those defenders that they've relied on for so long now. Kept them in the division the last couple of years in playing a certain way. But once you open up, once you want to play on the front foot and play attacking football, you're leaving those defenders exposed, and they're not good enough.
As we sit here now, what chance have they got of staying up, do you think?
I don't think there's... Well, it's going to depend on who they do attract in January, and I have to agree with Alan. It's a different conversation if you're adrift. Why would you want to go if you're going to end up in the Championship? So I do feel for Eddie, because, like he said, there were some positives, but at the same time, when you're trying to look at the positives in how they're going to actually continue to maybe get at an Arsenal team, when they had that little spell where I thought they could have had a go at Arsenal, and they didn't quite do it. San Maximum, like the final ball, and even some of the times Ryan Fraser put the ball into there, give Callum Wilson a chance to maybe attack it, and those little things are the things that they're going to have to try and be better at, because it's going to come down to those small margins and taking that chance. Because if they're going to defend like that, and they can continue to defend like they did in the first half and hold teams off, then the slim chances that they do, they've got to give him a chance to finish them off.
Goals in North London, but an awful lot to talk about. Let's get straight into it. Newcastle thought they'd scored. Ian Wright was talking long and hard about Aaron Ramsdale before the game.
Yep.
How good was this save?
It's a fantastic save. It was a great strike from John Joe Shelby. We know that he's got this in his locker. He set it up nicely, but I think you could, just the fingertips, just enough. You could see, you see it from behind the goal. He's trying to look around someone there. Look, there he is. And then he's had to move late. It's a fantastic save. Here it is, look.
Magnificent save.
Look, that's it. Brilliant. That's what he's been doing for Arsenal a lot, to be honest, recently.
Penalty appeals for Newcastle. This is the first one, Alan. What do you think?
No, this is not a penalty. As much as I'd like to say it should be, no, definitely not. We can't do anything about it. He's on his way down. Not a penalty at all for me.
Tommy Asu, the Arsenal player involved. So let's get some clarity on that first of all, from the former Premier League referee Dermot Gallagher. What's the law there for us, Derm?
Well, it struck him anyhow, Steve. That's one thing. But the law says, is he supporting his body with his arm? Yes, because he's fallen to the floor and his arm's in a natural position to support him. Anyhow, Steve, that's one thing. But the law says, is he supporting his body with his arm? Yes, because he's fallen to the floor and his arm's in a natural position to support his body, so can't give a penalty.
OK, thank you for that. But do stay there, because there's no debate about that one. There might well be about the next one. Mr. Shearer, first of all, your view on this?
I think this is a certain penalty. I mean, what on earth Darren England, the VAR official, is thinking and not telling Stuart Atwell to go and at least have a look at that. Look at him. Odegaard's got hold of him. He's pulled him to the ground. I mean, that for me is certain.
Righty?
Yeah, I have to agree, simply because he's impeded him in the box. If that happens again outside the box, you probably get a free kick. So for me, obviously from an Arsenal point of view, you're quite pleased it doesn't give it, but like, it's a penalty, isn't it? For me,
Dermot, try and
it's
talk.
A foul.
Dermot, try and talk us through the thought process of Darren England in VAR there.
What I would say is Odegaard takes one massive risk. You know, you do that, and you know, if you get pulled up, you suffer the consequences. What I would say is when Darren looks at it, he's got to decide, is it a clear and obvious error? You know, they've got this new tolerance level of it's got to have massive impact, such like, but it's down to a subjective decision. He thinks it's not enough to send him over the screen. As I say, when you do that, you run the risk, and if a penalty was given, he couldn't argue.
Darren, the mere fact that you've said it there, he's taken a terrible risk, because if the referee sees that, he's got to give it. How he doesn't give it from VAR, it just baffles. I
think if the referee sees it right, he's going to give that without doubt, because I think it's an on-field decision. I think the trouble with the VAR, they're not there to re-referee the game. They're there to judge whether the referee's made a howler, so to speak, and on that occasion he thinks not.
Well, your words there, Dermot, if the referee sees it, he gives it. So you're certain in your mind that if the referee sees that, you've actually got a referee looking at that in the studio or in the VAR room. So there shouldn't really be an argument. I mean, he's got two hands on him. Not only has he got two arms on him or around him, he's actually got hold of his shirt as well. Well, he's not even looking at the ball. He drags him down, he pulls him down. I mean, that for me can't be any clearer than that. That is a howler.
Yeah.
Well, this is why it comes down to subjectivity, Al. And as I say, you know, I look at that and I think, what a massive risk to take. The penalty's given, I couldn't argue. As I say, the VAR's not there to re-referee the game. It's there to decide a howler, and on his basis, it wasn't.
OK, Dan, thank you very much indeed. We must move on. A hugely debatable issue there. But when you look back from an Arsenal point of view, that first half, how are they not in front?
Poor for me, finishing in the end. I think that's a great chance. I think it's a fantastic ball. Should do better. I think goalkeeper, it's quite an easy save for the keeper there, you know. I feel that this one here is, for me, Emil Smith-Rowe has to score, first of all, from where he is. But there's no excuse for that. I don't know what to say. You know, he's a top goal scorer. You know, he's got himself in a position now. Bam. I don't know, he's just leaning back. He thinks that it's foregone in his mind. He thinks it's foregone, but he's actually missed the goal. He's at the outside of the post. It's for me, it's an unforgivable miss, you know.
There have been many good things from Newcastle, particularly the defensive side of things, and they've posed a threat when they've been able to going forward. The vast majority has been defending, but they've worked as a group, they've worked as a unit, and they've done it really, really well. Playing the four at the back, not the five as we thought they might do before the game. But I mean, Arsenal have missed two or three big chances. But there's hope in there for Newcastle. More of that in the second half.